Commerce. Good evening, Trey. How are you?
Doing well, baby.
How's the kids?
William turned 4.
William turned 5?
Four.
4.
Excellent.
I love 4.
I think
Yeah.
we lost.
No,
All right, are you guys ready? Let me know when you're on and ready. I'm not on yet.
Testing, testing.
I don't know that I need to be. I can just use paper.
Yeah, mine's not turning. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, gosh, I got the main now. It's your first ending. It is. You ready, Vicky? I don't want to scare you.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
Okay, let's call to order the regular board meeting for February 7th, 2024, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
.1, our first item is call to the public. Do we have anyone from the public? We have no one for tonight, so we will move on to 4.1, approval of the minutes.
Be it resolved, the governing board approves the minutes of the January 17, 2024 organizational regular board meeting and study session as presented.
Second? Terry, yes. Colton, yes.
Landis, yes.
DeCoste, yes. Motion passes. 5.1, consideration of approval of compensation increases. Will that be Mr. Huffman tonight? Thank you.
Thank you, President DeCoste, members of the board, Superintendent Eastlis, and members of our community. Brought a couple friends up here with me this evening. We were going to share. So, as you guys know, we recently gave some salary increases, and we were really excited to do that. But going into next school year, we wanted to look and see what else is out there, and we wanted to be as competitive as we possibly can with our staff salaries. As we start that process, we don't want to overextend ourselves, though. So we look at a lot of things. We start the process by looking at what additional revenues are going to be coming into the district this next school year. Right now, what we believe that largely is we believe that we're going to receive 2% of our revenue control limit based upon inflation from the state. That's a formula-driven equation. We also believe that we will continue to grow, and we're for right now using a conservative growth number. That will bring additional dollars to the district as well. On the other hand, we have to look at what additional expenses we have. Do we think gas prices are going to go up? That we're going to have additions to our electric bill? Is food going to cost more? We need to look at all of those things. Some of the primary things that what it really comes down to is that since our student population is going up, to maintain our class sizes, we're going to have to add some teachers. We also will need to add some support staff to go along with that. As an example, we plan on adding 2 bus drivers next year as well to keep up with our student growth. So once we do that, then we look at how about benefits. We're talking about benefits later on the agenda tonight, so we want to look at those costs and try and absorb as many of those costs and not pass those along to our staff. And then all of that, when we put it together, gives us a dollar amount that we feel very comfortable with in passing along to our staff when it comes to raises. So Julie and Noemi, probably more Noemi because Julie's struggling with her voice a little bit this evening, we're going to talk about our recommendation for tonight and our cumulative raise package for the last few months.
Good evening, DeCoste. We are very excited to ask for approval today for a 2% raise. That is also in addition to the 5% raise for classified, 4% for certified, 3% for admin. That was approved by the board in November. And so that brings our total raise for classified 7%, our certified 6%, and administrators 5%. So we are very excited to ask for your approval today.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I think we can start with Mr. Terry. Do we have questions?
Yeah, just as you had mentioned, we have in the last few years given mid-year adjustments to the packages that we offer our employees. And right now it's an estimate, about 2% that we may get in revenues. Obviously that's not concrete. We won't know that until the summer, but we're starting to offer contracts over the spring. So that's why the timing, to me, has always seemed backwards, but it's forced. Do we still leave ourselves the opportunity for these sorts of adjustments if those happen? What kind of processes will we do to see how we can best serve our staff going forward?
Yes, we're always happy to do so, and we're always very hopeful we're able to do so. Typically, there has to be some sort of trigger, whether it's additional funding through the legislature, which has happened the last couple of years. I don't know that we're quite as hopeful for that this year. Or additional student growth, and that is something that is always very possible in our district. And if any of those happen, we would like to bring additional compensation to the board to get to our staffs as soon as we can, staying within statutes and making sure Mr. Stratman's happy with everything that we're doing as well.
I don't have any questions. You answered my questions with them. Thank you.
Ms. Landis?
No questions.
Okay. Okay. No other questions? Moving on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have?
I would like to make a
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry, I missed that one.
Be it resolved, the governing board approves the compensation increase as presented for the 24-25 school year.
Second?
Terry, yes.
Colton, yes.
Landis, yes.
DeCoste, yes. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone have an item that they would like pulled for discussion?
I do not.
Maybe.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent
Be
agenda?
resolved that the governing board approves the items on the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Terry, yes.
Colton, yes.
Landis, yes.
DeCoste, yes. Motion carries. 7.1, comments and information from Superintendent Islas.
President DeCoste, members of the board, Agua Fria community, I'd like to say thank you very much to Tammy Gusset and Robert Zamora, who have been working very diligently with our community as we prioritize safety in this school district. Today, from lots of hard work and working people have put our district through a reunification exercise. So we know in case of an emergency and there has to be an evacuation somewhere, where we will be going. And that was the first start of some exercises that went on today. But we have solidified that after working again for a couple of years on that. So thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Robert, on that. I also want to really thank some people that, as we know, there are always some people behind the scenes that are doing some things to keep our district up and running. People that get here very early in the morning, stay very late, work through the weekend, and just do everything they possibly can for our kids and for our teachers. Recently had a cyber incident that you're aware of, and there were a few people in our Technology Innovative Solutions department that went over and above, putting in so many hours to try to address some of the critical issues involved in that and make sure that our system was ready for our kids. And that was Lauren Owens, of course, the executive director of that department, along with Brandon Gable, Ben Karen Litt, and Mike Chambers. I wanted to publicly thank them because it was just a lot of work that they did round the clock, almost 24 hours a day, as soon as we found out about the cyber incident, to keep us out of harm's way, make sure that all of our critical infrastructure was not ruined, and to make sure that teachers and kids could get back to some form of learning as soon as possible. So, President DeCoste, I wanted to thank them publicly for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to extend our thanks to them too. It was handled very quickly and very nicely, and we're all back on track, and we're lucky that we weren't, really damaged by any of that happened. So moving on to 7.2, we have our governing board members, summary of current events or any direction for the superintendent. Mr. Terry?
I will just kind of piggyback on the previous one. Appreciate you guys, not only that incident, we have so many incidents and situations that come up constantly, and Mr. Islas, I know, and I've seen over the last several years, not only responsiveness, but the effectiveness of that response. So just want to give kudos there. And as far as things going on, kind of in the grind of, our wet month that we may have, and, it's almost becoming spring. We're getting to the final quarter of the year here soon, and, winter athletics are wrapping up, and just looking forward to being out there, seeing everybody in action, and, we got a few more months left in the school year, and, just kind of excited to keep chugging along, so that's all I got.
I'd like to start by just recognizing, this is the recognition week for our school counselors. So I want to send a shout out to all of them. When we think about what our school counselors do, from the moment students transition from a middle school setting to the high school, they're introduced, they're welcomed, they're encouraged to find a friend network, given tours of the campus. You start to think then sophomore, junior, senior year, what they do to support the well-being of our students, not just emotionally, but also with issues that come up in life. Nobody lives a perfect life or has a perfect life circumstance and situation, and so they are there standing in the gap to help and assist our students. And then you start to think about as they transition towards graduation and beyond, think about all the support and things that they do to encourage our kids to think big and set some dreams for the future. So I wanted to start by just recognizing them and thanking them for all they do. Regarding some activities, I really enjoyed being out at Desert Edge back on the 19th of January, where myself and a fellow board member were able to participate in interviewing students, seniors, towards graduation work, those types of things. That was a great experience. Back on the 24th, I was here for a Partners in Education meeting with our superintendent and multiple people. So that was a very good experience to connect with our community members. Back on the 26th, attended an incredible basketball game at Millennium High School. I won't tell you which team won, but it was very competitive back and forth. And exciting to think that both of those two teams will be somewhere in our state playoffs. Hopefully they don't compete first round against each other, but more to come. Tomorrow, looking forward to being at Canyon View for a great theater show that I was invited to. So looking forward to doing that, and that is all.
First of all, I would like to thank the Curriculum Instruction Department. I received your multiple page report from the request I had last time, and so I will read over that and probably follow up with a few more questions along those lines. Thank you to everyone in Cabinet who responds to my texts throughout the week when I hear about things that are happening and pass that along, and you're very attentive and get me answers right away. Again, I will echo Happy National School Counselors Week to our counselors, and wish everyone a happy February.
Thank you. I don't have much to add to that. A little bit busy this month. I was at the Partners in Progress and the mock interviews, which Mr. Colton already talked about. Our senior to senior savvy business morning that they had here. It was really great fun. The senior citizens presented to the entire groups, and the senior students and the senior citizens worked together in partners and did like some networking, role playing, and things like that. And it was just really a great experience, and everyone got a lot out of it and really enjoyed it. That's it. Just looking forward to spring. Appreciate our school counselors like everyone else, and thank you all for being here. Okay. Moving on. Yes.
I just wanted to thank you, and I think Board Member Kristen Acton were able to attend the Partnership Summit. If there's a couple of things you might want to say about that, if you would, please, because you were there the entire time.
Yes. So we had our Partnership Summit on the 30th. That is on my list, and I didn't even say it, but it was a pretty amazing event. We've talked for the last probably 2 years about the future of bringing academies and trades academies to our district. And it's starting to come to fruition. They put together Mrs. Griego, Mr. Nowlin, Mr. Showman, really kind of headed up the whole thing along with lots of support from other departments. Anyways, over 100 people in the room, business partners, community partners, very excited about what we're doing in our schools and ready to commit to partner with us so that we can carry the workforce. You know, we can get our kids ready to go into the workforce and to work in our local businesses and be part of our community. It was a really amazing event. You talk about 4 hours flying by. It was great, and everybody was interactive and brainstorming, set up future committees. So they're in it with us for the long haul, and our students are going to leave these academies and have so many opportunities and so many connections and networks in the community to get jobs. It's all very exciting to see that, you know, we're starting to turn that corner from just the planning and the dreaming to now we're in the action phase of all of this happening. So thank you to everyone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't say that. For all the hard work that was done behind the scenes and the day of, because it was incredible. Okay, thank you. And any future agenda item requests? No? Hearing none, then I will go to 9.1, call for an executive session. Anybody want to move it?
Be it so moved that the board goes into executive session.
Second? That works?
That work?
Pursuant to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, yes.
Colton, yes.
Landis, yes.
Dick Host, yes. Motion carries. We're going to go into executive session. We have just one other item on the agenda when we come out, so do not feel like you have to stay and wait for us to come back out. Thank you.
Right, what are we? Are you gonna?
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn executive session.
Be it resolved, the governing board adjourns the executive session and returns to the regular board meeting.
Second. Terry, yes?
Colton, yes?
Landis, yes?
DeCoste, yes. Motion carries. Okay, item 10.1, returning to regular session. Need a motion for the potential approval of the land purchase agreement.
Be it resolved that the governing board approves and authorizes the superintendent to execute on behalf of the district the proposed land purchase agreement between the district and Westmec containing the purchase amount, described land, and substantially similar terms and conditions of agreement as discussed and proposed in the executive session.
Second?
Terry, yes?
Colton, yes?
Landis, yes?
DeCoste, yes. Motion carries. 11.1, consideration to adjourn.
Be it resolved, the governing board adjourns the regular board meeting on February 7th, 2024.
Second. Terry, yes?
Colton, yes?
Landis, yes?
DeCoste, yes. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.